Hello, welcome to Empress Moon Tarot. My name is Kimmy. Very happy to have you here today. This is going to be our full moon reading for Scorpio. So the Scorpio full moon for the sign of Leo, sun, moon, and rising. This is for the Scorpio full moon lunar cycle, not necessarily from the night of the full moon, but through the time that this full moon is moving from the full moon to the new moon. That will be between now and June the 3rd. I have shuffled each of these decks exactly 8 times. I will be side shuffling 8 times in order to get our cards for your reading, Leo. I chose the number 8 because Scorpio is the natural ruler of the 8th house, so I chose to continue with the Scorpio theme. These will be your main reading cards. If clarifications are needed, they'll be done with the Radiant Rider-Waite deck. You'll receive 1 Romance Angels and 1 Oracle of Visions card. Beauty of the Oracle of Visions card is that the message is entirely intuitive based upon the imagery on the card. They were meant to be read that way. However, some cards may have a different meaning in the actual book than what shows up in the reading. So just keep that in mind. All right, Leo, let's see what we have for you. Now, Leo, just to let you know, in my building, there's currently construction going on, and this video may have to be stopped and started. If that's the case, my apologies. It's out of my control. Hopefully, we'll be able to continue your reading without that. So for our first card, we need to know what is needs to be passing on from Leo's life during this lunar cycle. What needs to pass on from Leo's life during this lunar cycle? What needs to pass on from Leo's life during this lunar cycle? Okay. Where will rebirth happen during this lunar cycle for Leo? Where will rebirth happen during this lunar cycle for Leo? Where will rebirth happen during this lunar cycle for Leo? Where will rebirth happen? Leo, I neglected to mention at the beginning of my video, any cards that come out as jumper cards or cards that are flipping will be handled separately from your main reading. What does Leo need to be cautious of during this lunar cycle? What does Leo need to be cautious of during this lunar cycle? What does Leo need to be cautious of? What does Leo need to be cautious of? What emotions are brewing under the surface for Leo during this lunar cycle? What emotions are brewing under the surface for Leo during this lunar cycle? What emotions are brewing under the surface during this lunar cycle for the sign of Leo, sun, moon, and rising signs? And a potential outcome during this lunar cycle. Potential outcome for this lunar cycle. All right, let's see what we have here for you, Leo. First of all, let's take a look at this Two of Coins. Our Two of Coins is indicating that there is something largely out of balance in your life. We may see this as we take a look at the cards in your spread, but you're in need of pouring your energy into something that's going to give you stability. You may be placing too much effort into your work life and not enough into your personal life, or vice versa. It looks like you're trying to gain some form of stability, yet still retaining who you are. In other words, you may be, if you're working tremendously on your work and you feel like somebody's stealing your time, you're still trying to maintain your individuality and hold on to your freedoms as well. All right, so what needs to pass on in your life, Leo? We have the Ten of Coins. So there may be a very, very strong focus on money and work, especially since we have this card of balance came out separately. Certainly it's not saying that finances need to leave your life. You may be looking at during this current lunar cycle, you could be looking at whether or not you want to keep the job that you're in or whether you want to move on to something else. You may be considering whether or not you want to move into a new home or something of that nature. There's also the possibility that you may be trying to determine whether or not you want to enter into a long-term partnership. But what I feel that you're needing to let go of during this lunar cycle is the actual outcome. Building the foundation is great, and working on building stability in your life is great. We see it's happening here, but at the same time, you can't lose yourself in it. So be very, very cautious about that. You may be placing too much effort into one thing and not enough into another. Now, where rebirth will happen in your life, we have the Seven of Swords. Any kind of lies or deception that's been occurring in your life, or you feeling a need to protect yourself from people who might be lying or being deceiving towards you, is going to be going away in favor of open and honest communication. The beautiful part about this is this card is in your rebirth section here, in the raven is a symbol of not only a messenger, but the raven is a symbol of rebirth. So I feel like you're going to be moving away from this defensive energy, feeling like there may be people who are working against you, and becoming a lot more independent and not being concerned what other people think of you. You may be placing too much emphasis on how people view you. Now, what you need to be cautious of: anger, arguments, bitterness, petty disagreements. With this Five of Wands. Sensing anger strongly. Be careful about being quick to react during this lunar cycle. Could be, because this is actually Leo energy, this Five of Wands is. So be very, 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 very cautious about being quick to react to things. It may not serve you well. Try to find peaceful resolutions to communication that may not be going very well. And what emotions are brewing under the surface? We have Judgment. You may be trying to decide whether or not you want to forgive somebody for something that's happened in your past, or whether you need to approach somebody to bring a peaceful resolution to a connection. You may be desiring a brand new fresh start with regards to a relationship, whether that's a friend relationship, a love relationship, or a family relationship. You're looking for a second chance at something. But this is you not speaking of this. This is an emotion that's brewing underneath the surface. It's not something that you're communicating with others. It's something that's on your mind and on your heart, something that you're strongly considering. Potential outcome for this lunar cycle. Wonderful. Look at this. The Death card. The Death card. Absolutely amazing. Death card says you're going to let go of past hurts during this time frame. You may be mentally processing a lot of them in order to emerge new. Now with this white rose here, the white rose can be a symbol of purity. It can also be a symbol of true love. Leo, I think true love came up in your live reading, if I'm not mistaken. There may have also been a connection that you were wanting to restart. Now, this will not be for everyone, but Leo, it's possible you may have Scorpio in your chart specifically, not necessarily dealing with the Scorpio, but having Scorpio in your chart, because these are internal energies here. We have a Raven, which represents Scorpio. We also have a Scorpio card and another Scorpio card. So you may have that in your chart, and we have Leo card, which may also be in your, which we know is in your chart. But we have Aquarius, Capricorn, and Virgo. Strong Scorpio though. So take a look at your birth chart and see if you have Scorpio in your birth chart. If so, this entire transformation that you're going through during the Scorpio full moon lunar cycle may be even greater for you if you have Scorpio in your chart. All right, let's see if this outcome has to do with love. What's going on in Leo's love life during this Scorpio full moon lunar cycle? This card specifically will be for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Leo, you're being told to give your relationship a chance. That might be the second chance here that you're wanting emotionally. You're being told to work on your partnership. Work on your partnership. I feel like that's what's going to be happening. I feel like that's what we see with that white rose here. Let's see what other information we can get for Leo. I apparently violated my rule of the 8. I overshuffled these cards and these cards, but there must have been a reason for it because I've been really good about not doing that. So for Leo, this woman is holding a locket. There's somebody on your mind. This person may not be in your presence right now. You may not be connected with them. Often with a locket, you're carrying around a picture of a loved one, and there's a strong focus on the light coming out from the locket. There's somebody in your life who brings a lot of love to your life, who is heavily on your mind. With the way that the sunlight is shining both here and in here, that light being reflected and exuding from the locket tells me that this is the person that you want the second chance with. There may be an age difference between the two of you because there is an element here of childhood. This could be somebody from your childhood. There's a lot of internal dialogue going on regarding this connection. There's a sadness and a feeling of introspection, contemplation, and loss here. But the card number is 32, which comes out to 5, which usually has to do with change. So I feel like there's going to be some sort of change with regards to a love connection here for you, Leo, that you're moving in that direction. So I hope this was of help to you. Have an absolutely positively wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you again soon.